Hi everybody! So today I'm going to show you how to make this little pug, and this is what she or he will look like. These are the colors that I'm going to be using in the video, the skin color and the black. So pick whatever colors that you'd like to use. For example, this one is done with the caramel, and this one is the first one I tried out with the gray and the black. For the features, you're going to need 153, your skin color or your body color. You're going to need something for the eyes. You can use a 4mm pony bead or something bigger. I'm using a 12mm. I'm also using the bow, the same bow that I have on my channel for the zebra. I will put the link down below in the description box. So I'm going to get started, and I do hope you enjoy. Now I'm going to show you how to do the legs, and I'm going to do one with you, and then you're going to pause the video and make 3 more. So I'm going to start off with the black, which is the bottom part of the foot. And I'm going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to start off with my first band, and I'm going to wrap it around my my loom 3 times, the bottom peg. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're just going to pull your 6 bands through one at a time. Reaching in and grabbing your first one, other end on your hook, and bring your top loop over. Bring it to the side, go back in, bring your second band through, put the other end on your hook and the top 2 loops, bring it over, and bring it to the side. And you're just going to continue like that, bringing your band through, other end on your hook and the top 2 loops over. Attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook, and you can remove it off the loom. You want to move your bands around so that they're nice and even, and you should have 6 stitches. For round 2, I'm going to change to the skin color, so the body color, whatever color that you'd like to use for the body. I'm going to increase this round to 8 stitches. So we're going to start off with a single crochet, followed by 2 increases. So using double bands, 2 bands in those 2 stitches, ending with 3 single crochets. So I'm going to go in the first chain with 1 band, and I'm changing color. So I'm going to start off with a slip stitch, bringing it through all the loops that were on my hook and side. Now my next 2 stitches, I'm adding 2 bands in each. Back in, the next chain with 2. Now you should have 3 stitches left, 1, 2, and 3. Add 1 band to each chain until you get to the stitch marker. So you should have 8 stitches left. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3 and 4, we're just doing 8 single crochets, adding 1 band to each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. You're going to do that for rounds 3 and 4. In your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed, and we're going to add a tiny bit of stuffing when we're done. So I'm going to do round 3, 1 band in each chain. Don't go in your slip knot. All the way until you get to the stitch marker. you remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. I'm not going to use it because I have my bands counted, and I'm just going to go around for round 4, 1 band in each chain. This is the last band. Bring it through all of the loops and tie it off. Now you want to add some stuffing. You're just going to add a little bit. I recommend using a pencil to help you stuff. So you don't need a lot at all. I'm just going to roll it around, put it into a ball, and I'm going to use the pencil to help me add it in. And this is what they should look like. Now I'm going to show you how to make the tail. You can do it this way that I'm about to show you, or just do a little simple chain, whatever you prefer. Now I'm going to start off with a chain of 4, and my cap band is going to be any color that you're willing to cut off. Then I'm going to do a reverse stitch and 3 single crochets in the next 3 chains. So let's do the chain first. So a cap band wrapped 4 times, 3 times, and create a chain of 4. Now we're going to start round 2. First you have to do a slip stitch to the top band, so slide. Now you're going to do a reverse stitch, 3 bands per chain, so 3 single crochets in each chain. When you're going reverse, make sure, so if you're to hold your cap band like this, this would be the correct way. When you put your hook in, you want the top part of that loop on your hook. So if you hold it incorrectly, which is like this, the cap band, the circle's flat on my finger here, the chain is not on your hook. So this is not right. You can see? So if I was to cut these bands, everything is just going to fall apart. So hold your cap band like this, go in the next chain and do 3 single crochets. Back in. And one more time. Now your next chain with 3. Back in. And your last chain, you want to make sure that the top of that band is on your hook, the body color there, and do 3 single crochets. And one more. Now you want to attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook so you don't lose it for when we're ready to use it. Now you want to cut your cap band off. Be very careful that you don't cut the rest of your bands. And you want to keep this on something. So you can use your loom to store it, a toothpick, an extra hook, and you're going to keep this until we're ready to use it. Now we're going to do the ears, and I'm going to show you how to do one, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another. I'm going to start off with 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to use the bottom part of my loom, and I'm not going to use a stitch marker, but if you feel more comfortable, I'll tell you where to add one. You're going to take your you're going to take a band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to reach in and pull 5 bands through one at a time. Top loop over. Top 2 loops over. And continue. Remove off the loom and you should have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is on your hook. Now you want to move those around. Now if you want to add your stitch marker, you'd want to add it to this band right here. And it's going to give you an idea of where you are. Now I'm going to increase on the next 3 stitches. So I'm going to go to the first stitch with 2 bands, an increase, the second stitch with an increase, and the third stitch with an increase. And I'm going to stop there. So I'm only using 1, 2, and 3 stitches. Back in. The next stitch with 2, back in, and the next stitch with 2. So if you're counting the stitches on the mat on this ring right now, this round, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is on your hook. Now for rounds 3, 4, 5, and 6, you're going to do a reverse stitch. So you're going back and forth, back and forth. And your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. And then we're going to add 4 sewing bands to the top part. So I'm going to turn this around. So normally we would go in our next stitch, but I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to only use the next 4 chains. So starting where your band is coming out of, you're going to do round 3 and 4 single crochets in the next 4 chains. The next chain, you can see I'm going from my way, from me to the to out. I didn't go this way. So with my hook, I'm just going from me, away from me, oh wow, to the 3rd chain and the 4th chain. So now you're going to turn it around and you're going to do round 4, 4 single crochets. So starting where your band is coming out of, your chain should be hiding right in the corner here. And round 5, you're just turning it around and you're going to reverse again, 4 single crochets. Your chain is hiding at the end. And round 6, 4 single crochets, you want to turn it around and your last band, do a slip knot to tie it closed. Last, make sure you're grabbing your chain, bring it through all of the loops that are on your hook and tie it off. Now I'm going to add a band, a sewing band, do a slip knot to each one of these chains. So you're using 4. So right beside where the the slip knot is, you're adding 1. Give it a slight tug. You don't want to pull too hard. And this is what you should have. Now we're going to do the eye part. This black part here, which is a magic ring of 7 stitches. Whether you're using the beads, bands, or safety eye, you want to make this piece. I'm going to show you to do one, and then you're going to pause the video to make another. Now I'm going to do 7 single crochets in the magic ring. My last band, I'm going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to remove my magic ring off the loom and add my last band to do a slip knot. So right now I'm doing a magic ring of 6. I'm going to take my first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now pull your bands through. I'm going to pull 6 through. Top loop over, back in, top 2 loops over. Make sure you're bringing it to the side. Now this is my 6th band. Go in. And you want to remove it off the loom. You don't need a stitch marker. And I'm going to do a slip knot. So I'm going to go back in that center circle. Bring your band through all of the loops. Grab the end and tie it off. And these are what the eyes should look like. Now we're going to make the nose, and it's 5 single crochets in the magic ring. That's this piece right here. I am going to do 4 stitches in the magic ring, remove it off the loom, and use a 5th band to do a slip knot, just as we did with the eyes. Then after I'm done that, I'm going to add 3 sewing bands. So I'm not going to be using a stitch marker. So I'm going to take my first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to pull 4 bands through. So I just did 4. You want to remove it. Use your 5th band by going in the center circle. So you have the 3 loops there for that cap band that we used. And bring a band through all of the loops and tie it off. So now you want to add 3 sewing bands. I'm going to go 1, skip, 2, and the last one. What you're going to do is do a slip knot. Give it a bit of a tug, not too hard, but you want it to stay. So I went here, I'm going to skip that stitch. I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to go in the last stitch that's beside our slip knot that we made on the magic ring. And slip knot. So this is an idea of what you should have. I mean, you could add another band right here. At this point, I really don't think it's necessary. So you can put this off to the side. Now we're going to make the snout. It's this piece right here, and this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to start off with a chain 4, and my cap band is going to be any color that you have, and then we're going to cut it off. I'm going to wrap this around my hook 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now a chain 4. And you're going to slide that 4th band and attach the stitch marker. So you should see 3 black stitches. 1, 2, and 3. So now I'm going to start round 2, and I'm going to do a single crochet in the next 2 chains right above. So holding the cap band on the side here, not like this, you want to put your hook in the chain above, making sure that the top part of the black bands is on your hook. Then you know that you went in correctly. You're going to do a single crochet, holding the cap band to the side here, go to the chain above and do a single crochet. Now in this last chain, you're going to do 4 single crochets in that 1 chain. Holding the cap band to the side here, go in and do 4 single crochets in that same chain. I'm going to cut this cap band, but first I'm going to show you. In your next chain, you're going to do a single crochet, and in the next one, you're going to add 3 bands. So I'm going to cut, I'm just going to move the band up, and I'm going to cut this red cap band that you see. And now going to the next chain, single crochet, the next chain, I'm going to do 3 single crochets in that same chain. Back in. And back in. So now you see your stitch mark over here. You'll see 1 stitch, 2 stitch. I want you to go in your stitch before your stitch marker and do a slip knot. So bring it through all of the loops and tie it off. And remove your stitch marker. Round 1, we're going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring and using the body color. So you're going to take your first band and wrap it around your bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And just bring 5 bands through, 1 at a time. Back in. Attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. You should have 5 stitches. You want to remove your bands around. For round 2, we're going to increase on each stitch around. So you're adding 2 bands to each chain. 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first chain and bring 2 bands through 1 at a time. Back in. and repeat the next stitch with 2. Just continue until you get to the stitch marker. You have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase to 15 stitches. So the pattern is a single crochet followed by an increase, single crochet followed by an increase, and I'm just going to change that band. You're going to repeat this 5 times. So go in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and add 1 band, 1 single crochet. Chain 2, you're adding 2, so this is your increase. Back in, and repeat 1, 2. You can follow the layout until you get to the stitch marker. So you should have 15 stitches and remove your stitch marker. For round 4, this is the pattern. We're going to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You're repeating this pattern 5 times. So just on every 3rd stitch, you're adding 2 bands, 1 at a time. And at the end of round 4, you're going to have 20 stitches. So you're just going to repeat this all the way to your stitch marker. Your first 2 chains with 1 band and your 3rd with 2. So not going where it's getting pulled, go in your first chain and a single crochet. The next with 1. And your 3rd with 2. Just follow the layout and continue until you get to the stitch marker. See, I have 3 stitches left and I have 3 sections left. You should have 20 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 5, 6, and 7, you're just doing 20 single crochets. So you're adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 20 bands, so at the end you should have 20 stitches. I'm going to do part of round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So not going where it's getting pulled, go in your first chain and just do a single crochet. And continue on each chain until you get to the stitch marker. You can remove your stitch marker or add a new one so you can count your rounds. So you can pause the video, continue, and come back to me when you're done. Now we're going to attach the snout onto the nose, onto the face. What I'm going to do is secure my stitch marker so it doesn't come apart to one of the chains. And I'm going to use a toothpick to hold it down. So what you're going to do is find your stitch marker, your magic ring right in the center, and you're going to put the snout on the face right below the magic ring. I'm putting the slip knot to the side, it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to put the toothpick, not that it's going to be very secure, but it's going to try to hold, I'm going to try to hold it down in place. So you can still see where my magic ring is. Now I'm going to use 22 bands. So basically I'm going to do an increase on each one of these stitches. Now I'm going to start to the side, or you can start in the center. It's wherever you'd like. If you're going to start in the center, you're grabbing the stitch on the face, like part of that magic ring, and bringing it there. But I am going to start at the side, and I'm going to make sure and try to make sure that this is centered. So I'm going to grab a stitch on the face right underneath the stitch here. Now I'm going to do a single crochet, and you're going to have to keep fixing until it's in place. Now my next stitch, I'm only going to grab the stitch on the snout. I'm not grabbing the stitch on the body or on the face. And that's what I'm going to do all the way around, doing a single crochet. Now fixing it again. So I'm beside the magic ring, the stitch on the face, trying to locate it. You can grab one stitch or two stitches from the face, go through the chain on the snout, and do a single crochet. Don't get poked from that toothpick if you're using it. Now you could do a couple of slip stitches with a different color just to hold it in place. That's up to you. So now go back in that same chain. I'm not grabbing the face, just through the chain of the snout, and single crochet. Now I'm at the magic ring. So I'm going to go through the magic ring, then through the snout, and single crochet. I'm going to go back through the chain on the snout, not through the face again, and single crochet. So now I'm going to grab the next stitch beside the magic ring and the next stitch on the snout. Just grabbing the chain on the snout now and single crochet. Now you want to go beside where you just grabbed and then grab the chain on the snout. So put it flat. Make sure it's flat. And right underneath your next chain of the face, that's where you're grabbing. So you're kind of off to the side now. And then just go through the chain of the snout. Put it flat. You may want to fold the face in half to make sure that you're even. So checking it out. And you're just going to continue going around. So the chain of the face underneath the snout. Back in, just grabbing the snout now. And just continue going around doing the same idea. You probably could remove the toothpick. Back in. Put it flat, take your time, figure out which chain you're grabbing, and you could look at it just to make sure everything is going straight. I can see that I'm grabbing the stitches, or I think I am, the stitch over from where I last grabbed. And I can see that we need another section of bands, I'm sorry. Back in. And the last one. Now, before I add my last band, I just want to make sure I'm going to go in, but I'm going to finish it off with an extra band just to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to go in my last chain. So I ended beside my slip knot. I'm not going to go through the face. Sorry about that. I went through the face already. This is my second stitch per chain. And now I'm going to grab the next chain over just so it's a complete looking round. So I'm going on the stitch of the snout only and doing a slip knot to tie it closed. Now we're going to attach the nose, and it's just going to go right at the top. You want to find a nice placement. So you're going to see part of your magic ring, a flatter section here. That's going to go at the bottom. I'm going to bring each one of these bands through and then do a slip knot at the back with an extra band. So find the placement. I'm just going to make sure by folding it in half, it's even on both sides. I'm going to find the center and then bring the bands through. So just going in the back. You can keep the band on your hook or let go. That's up to you. One way or another, you're going to catch the bands after. Now turn it around. You're going to find your bands. So we should have 4 bands in the back. So if they were like this, you're just going to grab your ends and slide. Grab an end, you're grabbing 4 bands and slide. Now I just want to kind of tighten it up, so I'm just going to go through one of the stitches here and do a slip knot to secure the nose. Now these bands that you have here, I'm going to go through the back and bring it to the other side. Now to do the eyes, you're going to find your placement. If you're using the safety eye, you can find your placement by going through, attach the back, and then slide this piece over, which I'll do in a second. If you don't have the beads or the safety eyes, you can take 2 bands and wrap it around your hook 3 times and slide it onto a single band. Or up to you. If you're using the beads, you want to put the rubber band through and you're going to find your placement of where you'd like to go. 2 ends are going to go through 2 holes. So one end of the band is going through 1 hole, find your placement, go through the next, find your placement. So you're just going right beside it and you're going to tie it off with a slip stitch, with a slip knot in the back. I just lost one end. So you're going to be tying this off with a slip stitch. And you're going to take one of the eyes with your slip knot facing the bottom and push it through. You can use any color band, beads, brown color bands, brown color beads, white, whatever you'd like. But I'm using the safety eye, so I'm just going to remove this. Find my placement. Touch the backing. Am I going off camera? Not too hard when you're attaching the backing because you need room for the beads. I'm just going to find my placement first, so I'm just going to add one of the eyes here because I've already snapped it. And I just want to see the placement. And I think I'm going to add there. and that should be okay. Now we're going to continue off with the head, and we're going to close it off. So you want to put your band back on your hook, put your hook through, and we're going to continue going around. Now for round 9, we're going to do 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. I really recommend using the invisible decrease to complete the head. So use an extra band. You're repeating this 5 times, and at the end of round 9, you're going to have 15 stitches. So you're going to go in your first 2 chains with 1 band in each. Now do a slip stitch in the next 2 chains. Leave it on your hook. And then slide. Repeat 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. Oops, single crochet, single crochet, and now your invisible decrease. Three loops and slide. You want to continue 3 more times until you get to the stitch marker. Oops, I'm not paying attention. I'm so sorry. I'm getting confused with my own pattern here. Now you just did 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. And 1 more time. So right now you should have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. Round 10, we're going to decrease to 10 stitches. It's going to be a single crochet followed by an invisible decrease, adding an extra band. Single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. You're going to repeat this 5 times. So you'll have 10 stitches when you're done. When we're done, we're going to add some stuffing to fill. So go in your first, and I do recommend using the invisible decrease. First stitch, single crochet. Now an invisible decrease, 2 slip stitches. Leave it on your hook. 3 loops and slide. And you're just going to repeat single crochet followed by an invisible decrease all the way until you get to the stitch marker. So you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, and you want to fill the face. So you want to move the band up on your hook there. Try your best to fill, and you can see, check out the proportion for the face and for the body. So you can compare, because the last round we're just closing it off. So where your slip knot is where the head goes. Pretty sure I have too much stuffing. Yeah, way too much. And I'm just going to leave it like that. For round 11, we're going to close this off, so I'm going to do 5 invisible decreases. So I'm just going to add an extra band. Then I'm going to close it off with the next stitch over. You'll end up on the next stitch over on the opposite side of your stitch marker, and you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to do 5 invisible decreases until I reach the stitch marker. Now I'm at the stitch marker, invisible decrease, and go to the next stitch beside, and you can do a slip knot and tie it closed. Round 1, we're going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring and using the body color. So you're going to take your first band and wrap it around your bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And just bring 5 bands through, one at a time. Back in. Attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. You should have 5 stitches. You want to remove your bands around. For round 2, we're going to increase on each stitch around. So you're adding 2 bands to each chain. 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So I'm going to go on my first chain and bring 2 bands through one at a time. Back in. And repeat the next stitch with 2. Just continue until you get to the stitch marker. You have 10 stitches, remove your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase to 15 stitches. So the pattern is a single crochet followed by an increase, single crochet followed by an increase, and I'm just going to change that band. You're going to repeat this 5 times. So go in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and add 1 band, 1 single crochet. Chain 2, you're adding 2, so this is your increase. Back in, and repeat 1, 2. You can follow the layout until you get to the stitch marker. So you should have 15 stitches, and remove your stitch marker. For round 4, this is the pattern. We're going to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You're repeating this pattern 5 times. So just on every third stitch, you're adding 2 bands, one at a time. And at the end of round 4, you're going to have 20 stitches. So you're just going to repeat this all the way to your stitch marker. Your first 2 chains with 1 band, and your third with 2. So not going where it's getting pulled, go in your first chain and a single crochet. The next with 1. And your third with 2. Just follow the layout and continue until you get to the stitch marker. See, I have 3 stitches left, and I have 3 sections left. You should have 20 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, you're doing 20 single crochets. So adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I'm going to do part of round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. Just so you know, there's 20 bands in each section here. For each round, you should have 20 stitches when you're done. So you're going to go in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and just adding 1 band. I'm just going to do part of this. You just continue all the way until you get to the stitch marker. Now for each round, you can leave a stitch marker on so you can count your rounds and go back to it just to make sure that you have enough rounds. The worst thing that can happen is your body's just going to be too small. So you can continue until you get to the stitch marker, pause the video, and come back to me when you're done. Now I'm on round 12. This is what you should have so far. Now I'm going to decrease on this round, and we're going to make it smaller. We're going to decrease it to 15 stitches. So the pattern is going to be 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. So I'm adding an extra band. 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. So I'm just adding an extra band. Now you could stitch the 2 stitches together. I just find that the invisible decrease is going to give it a little bit of a cleaner finish. So it's entirely up to you. So now I'm going to go in the first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and do a single crochet. Chain 2, single crochet. Now stitch 3 and 4 together, or I'm going to do the invisible decrease. So either you're going to do this and pull your band through so you're not using an extra band, or you're going to do a slip stitch in each chain and leave it on your hook. Again, up to you. The next chain. When you get 3 loops, slide. So you're going to repeat 1, 1, stitch these together. So single crochet, next chain, single crochet, invisible decrease, slip stitch, next chain, slip stitch, 3 loops, and then you're going to slide and repeat. And you're just going to continue this until you get to the stitch marker. So I'm an invisible decrease, and one more time. Three loops inside. So you should have 20 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. We're going to begin round 13, but the first thing that I want to do is stuff the body. I'm going to do that in 1 second, but I'd like to explain the pattern first. What we're going to do is a single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. 1, then invisible decrease. 1 single crochet, and I'm adding an extra band. So you're going to repeat that 5 times. Now when we stuff this body, we want the shape of the body to remain the same. We don't want to change the shape. So that means you don't want to overstuff. So you can add the stuffing. You can remove stuffing at the end if you did add too much. It's just like you want to add the stuffing, but you don't want the shape to change too much. You can remove some later if the body ends up being too big for the head, because the pug's body has a longer body and not so big. So I'm just going to leave it at this, and if I need to remove some when I'm done, then I will, just with your hook, and push the extra pieces that are sticking out with a pencil. So I'm just going to leave it like that, and I'm going to continue with the pattern. So I'm going to do a single crochet in my first stitch, not where it's getting pulled, and an invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches, or stitch them together. So slip stitch, slip stitch, 3 loops inside, and repeat. Single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. And repeat. Three loops inside, and continue. You're going to do this 2 more times until you get to the stitch marker. And 1 more time. Slip stitch. So you should have 15 stitches remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 14, this is our last round and we're going to close it off. I'm going to do 5 invisible decreases, so adding an extra band. Then I'm going to, in the stitch over, I'm going to use an extra band to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to do 5 invisible decreases until I get to the stitch marker. And I'm just going to go the stitch over. I reached my stitch marker. I'm just going to go to the next stitch over and bring my band through all of the loops and tie it closed. And you can find your stitch marker and remove it. Now if you do need more stuffing, but you can move it around, you could add it just by using a pencil and pushing it through, but I think I have enough. Now we're going to attach the legs, and I'm going to do all 4 with you. For each leg, you're going to use 8 bands. I'm going to use a guiding band for both the front and the back legs. I'm going to attach one guiding band right now. So pick a color band that you'd like to use. You can reuse this band after. Now this part where your slip knot is the front where your head goes. This part is the back. So now I'm going to use this as the belly part. Find your magic ring. So the pretty little flower at the back. You're going to count 5 little holes above, and that's where I'm going to attach the guiding band. So here's your magic ring. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see this is where I'm going to attach my guiding band. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. A straight line. And do a little slip knot with a slight tug. You just want it to stay, but you'll be able to reuse this band after. Now I'm going to attach this leg first, so I'm going to put my hook through one of the chains, any chain that you'd like. I'm going to go beside the slip knot, push your stuffing down, and we're going to use the chain to the side and right above. And I'm going to put my hook through. The next chain, when I do my single crochet, will be this band right here. So this will be the second chain that I grab, this one right here. I'm going to put my hook through, do a single crochet, bringing it through both of the chains, on my hook, and slide. Now put your hook in the next chain over. If you're using where the slip knot is, you should be on the other side of the slip knot right now. So I put my hook through the leg, and I'm going to grab the chain right below. So I didn't grab where my guiding band is. I'm grabbed right over, and do a single crochet. Next chain on the leg, put your hook flat down, loosen it up, and it's going to tell you where to grab. So you're going to be grabbing the next band over. So you're at the back now of the leg. Single crochet. Oops, and I dropped them. Putting it back on. Now, the next chain on the leg, put your hook, leave it, like let it go loose, let it be your guide, and you're grabbing the next stitch over. So just try your best. The next stitch on the leg, loosen up your hook, and the tip of your hook should tell you where to grab. Next stitch. And the last one. This one, you're doing a slip knot to tie it closed. I'm just going to loosen it up. So you want to bring it through all of the loops that are on your hook and tie it off. Check on your guiding band. This is what you should have so far. Now we're going to do the next leg. So I'm going to put my hook through one of the stitches on the leg, and I'm going to show you the placement. So here's your guiding band. You're going to go not to the stitch right above. You're going to go to the next stitch right above to the side. So you're going to see 1 and 2. As you're sewing around, you're going to be even with this leg, or try to be anyways. So you're going to do a single crochet, bring it through both of the stitches, and grab the next stitch on the leg. You want to keep an eye that you're even on both sides. So you're going to the next stitch over, put it loose, and you want to make sure that you're even. So please check it out. Next stitch, put your hook flat. I think I need to grab, gonna put it flat, grab the wrong stitch. Again, once you do your crochet, make sure you're still even with the other leg as best as you can. Next stitch. When you're at the back of the body, make sure you're even with this leg. Last stitch. You should be ending up somewhere beside your guiding band. Oh, sorry, this is not the last stitch. One more. I'm just going to recheck my placement, and my band came out. Bring it through all of the loops and tie it off. Now for the other legs, and this is the front part. I'm going to move my guiding band, so undo this, but 1 second, don't undo it yet. You're going to see, you're going to count 6 little holes above, and that's where you're going to place the next guiding band. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you're trying to find a straight stitch that's in the center of this guiding band, so in the center of the legs. And you're going to put your hook through. If it's off to the side, just move your stuffing around. Now you want to remove the guiding band and do a slip knot to the front. Now put your hook through the leg, and you're going to use 8 bands to sew it around, and you're going to do the same thing as we did with these legs. So you're going to go to the side and above. And that's where you're going to start. Bring your band through. The next stitch. You're grabbing the stitch right below. That's beside your guiding band. So put it flat. Grab somewhere in here. And you're doing a single crochet. Next stitch, loosen it up. And then just continue going around. You want to make sure you're even at the sides and even with the leg here. I'm not too sure about this stitch. You don't want the stitches to pull, so it ends up leaving like a gap. So that's what I'm just afraid of. So that's okay. And I'm going to continue my last band, and I'm going to do a slip stitch to tie it closed. Bringing it through all of the loops. And it should stand right now. Now we have the last leg, so you want to put your hook through one of the chains. And just like we did this leg, there's your guiding band. You're going to go 1 and 2 and try to be even with this leg. So you want to grab a stitch, so there's the guiding band. There's 1 and 2. You're going to see your little invisible decrease. Grab the actual chain. And do a slip stitch. Single crochet and go around. Next stitch. Now you should be even with this leg. Put it flat. Make sure that you're even and continue going around. Now when you get to the side, you want to make sure you're even with this body. So just let it go loose. The hook. Next stitch. You're in the middle. You want to make sure that you're even with this leg on the opposite side at the front. And the last band. You want to make sure that you're even in the center. And then you can take all of these slip knots and hide them by going through underneath the body and then pulling them through. And remove your guiding band. Now we're going to sew on the ears, and I'm going to do both with you. For each ear, you're going to need a band to do a slip knot to tie it close. I'm going to do this side first, and I'm going to place it right beside. And what I'm going to do is bring each band through first, through the head, and then I'm going to crochet. I'm going to start at this end first, and I'm going to go in the center of the eye, and that's where I'm going to grab is one stitch above. So this is where I'm going to go, and I'm going to pull my band through, trying very hard not to grab some stuffing. You can check your placement, but that's where I'm going to go. Now the next 3 stitches are going to be at a chain above this level. So these ones are higher than the 2 chains at the end. So I'm going to go right above to the next stitch over, bring my band through. I'm going to find my stitch here. It kind of went underneath. Same level for the next stitch over, and again next stitch over, and now the last stitch I want to make sure that I'm even with this end one. And I'm just grabbing all kinds of stuff in. So check your placement. And now I'm going to go from the left to the right here and grab the stitches. Just so you try, I'm trying so hard, I'm going to go from the ear towards the band and bring it through. Otherwise, if you go the other way, you're going to see all the skin tone bands showing through, or the body color bands showing through. So now I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to grab the sewing band that's attached to the ear and do a slip stitch. I'm going to go from inside out, trying to hope that the ear stays flat. And we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to sew on the next ear, and we want to make sure that the placement is the same distance as the other side. So the center of the eye, the stitch right above, so you're going to see this if I grab here, it's the same. You're going to bring your bands through. The 2 ones on the end have to be even, and the 3 in the middle have to be at a stitch above. Also making sure that the distance is the same on the other ear, or to the other ear. When you get to the last one, you want to make sure that you're in the same distance as the other ear. So now we have to bring these bands through. I'm going to start on the right, and I'm just going to grab my bands, 2, and I lost one, I can see that, so I'm just going to go through, find my band. So I'm just going to grab the bands and slide. I'm going to go underneath. And I think on this side, I'm just going to grab a stitch, one little stitch on the body. That's up to you. And the ears are on. These little slip stitches or slip knots that you have on the eye, I'm going to go through the face and just hide them. Now we're going to attach the head to the body. You can use this body color. I'm going to use red because I've made one of the bows that I've used on my zebra bow for the zebra tutorial, which the link will be down below in the description box. Now I'm going to use red just because it gets covered up if you're going to be making a collar. I'm going to do 4 slip stitches or a slip knot on 4 of the bands. You want to find your center and you're going to go to a stitch right above. So here's the center of the body and you're going to find 4 stitches right above. So I'm going to use 1 off to the side a little bit, do 4 slip knots. 1, I'm going to go right beside. And right beside. So there's 4. Now I'm going to find 3 stitches in the front of that. So I'm going to use 1, 2, right in front, sorry. 1, 2, and 3. And do 3 slip knots in front. Now with the head, so just in case you forget, the slip knot for the body should be the front of the body. Now you're going to grab, with your hook, you're going to grab stitches in the head and then grab each one of these stitches and you're single crocheting right around. So first you want to find the placement of the head, find how you want to have it. I'm going to have it here and I'm going to find stitches on the head, grab the stitch right beside on the head and then bring your band through and slide. Right beside and slide, right beside and slide. Turn around and you're going to do the same thing, grabbing stitches on the head, your little sewing band, slide, and a sewing band and slide. Now we need to secure the head, so you want to, I'm going to grab a stitch on the body again and do a slip knot to tie it closed. And then you can just kind of stretch your bow, make a collar, add a bell if you wish. And you can hide all the extra slip knots that you have around. So I'm going to add the mouth and the tail now. I've added a little bow, so that's up to you if you'd like to do that. But what I'm going to do for the mouth is use a red band and a black band to secure it. So under the nose, I'm going to go through 2 of the stitches just of the snout, so the black part of the face here. Skip a stitch and go at the other, and I'm going to bring a band through, grab the end, and then tie it off with a black band. And I'm going to go through the face, beside the slip knot, and bring it through to hide it. I'm not going to bring it out of the face. I might have to go back in, grab closer, just to hide it. And grab the red. I'm going to have to Hide that band a little bit better. And for the tail, you're going to need one band, the skin color, remove the tail off. You don't need the stitch marker. I just didn't want you to lose that band. You're going to find the placement somewhere at the back. So figure out where you'd like it. I'm going to go through 2 of the stitches. I'm going to bring my sewing band through the stitches of the body. Now what I'm going to do is go through the stitch on the tail. So right where your band is coming out of, you're going to go through the stitch on the tail, grab the end of that band that you're going to do a slip knot and bring it through all of the stitches that are on your hook. And I didn't have my end through my last stitch. So let me just repeat, sorry about that. I'm going to put this back on my hook, go through 2 of the stitches, bring your band through all of the loops, go through that stitch on the tail where your band is coming out of, on the tail, grab your end, and now bring it through all of the loops, so we're tying it off. And then you can hide this band, the sewing band, or sorry, the slip knot band, your slip knot. And she's done. I do hope you enjoy. Now hide this one a little bit better.